All right. Well, hello. Welcome to November. So how did you enjoy your extra night's hour of sleep last night? Or I understand a couple people got here an hour early. They got to go have coffee. So this is, November. Can you imagine? It's already here, and wow, in just a couple days, all of the politicking will be done. Won't that be lovely? Yeah. I don't know where this came from, but as I was young, I remember the saying, vote early, vote often. I'm not sure what that was from, but boy, I mean, it's interesting how many of us have already voted this year. I mean, it's a totally different way that we're doing it than before, and I took mine to the library. I thought that would be a good way to do it. Since it is November, and historically, that is the month of Thanksgiving and so forth, so I just wanted to highlight that. This month, our theme is praise and thanksgiving, and our message this morning is living the truth. And though we don't have Joel Goldsmith as our theme, which we've had for the last 2 months because we've been doing that in the book study, he's still very much in the foremost of my mind and heart because our book studies decided to continue with yet another one of his books, Living the Infinite Way. So I'm grateful that we are here to know this truth, this thankful that the infinite way, which is love, is with us, is guiding us at every moment and at every moment. But we have that choice to make the intention to have love guide us. And to me, that makes all the difference in the world because we can have all sorts of perspectives. Obviously, with all the election thing that's going on right now, lots of things are up in the air and lots of decisions and lots of changes perhaps are going to be made. And yet, in my mind and in my heart, what I'm knowing is that love is absolutely flowing through it all, and that we are to know that whoever and whatever is going to be elected, that maybe there's changes going to be happening, but we have to look for and we have to draw forth and we have to experience the love and the peace and the wisdom that is for our communities, that is for our nation right now. And I think that's very important that we hold to that. So as we look to being grateful and being thankful, to me, they just go hand in glove with love. When we are grateful, when we express our gratitude, doesn't it feel like love to you? I mean, to me, it can be nothing else. And I imagine that most of us would agree with the statement that God is love. That's the truth. God is love. And God is all. God is everything. There is not a spot where God is not. So that love, that all-encompassing love, is everywhere present. And that includes us, each and every one of us. No matter the way we act, no matter the appearance, that in our heart and in our souls and in our core, we are that love. Everything is. And so when we look out with those eyes, we can be more accepting. We can be more softened to holding up judgment, of holding up comparisons, of allowing each and every person to be their self just as they are. So as we know the concept that God is love, we broaden that and we know that that's the truth to everyone. I wanted to read with you John 15, verses 4 through 12. Of course, this is Jesus' words. Remain with me and I with you. Just as a branch cannot give fruit by itself unless it remains in the vine, And even so, you cannot unless you remain with me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who remains with me and I with him will bear abundant fruit, for without me you can do nothing. Unless a man remains with me, he will be cast outside like a branch, which is withered, which they pick up and throw into the fire to be burned. If you remain with me and my words remain with you, whatever you ask shall be done for you. In this the Father will be glorified, that you bear abundant fruit and be my disciples. Just as my Father has loved me, I also have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. I have spoken these things to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. So Jesus the man became the Christ by listening and abiding in his Father's word. Hang on a minute. There. That's a fat book for a tiny little shelf. That I have said these words that my joy might be in you, and that your joy might be full. Life is meant, in my estimation, to be one of joy, to be one of love, to be one of giving, to be one of praising, to look for the good and claim it and speak it and say it. You know, our 2020 is coming quickly to a close, and do you remember the state of mind you had at the beginning of it? When 2020 first started, I don't know about you, but I can remember thinking, oh my gosh, this is like, you know, a brand new decade. What's it gonna be? I mean, how much amazing can it be? And how little did we know what difference it was going to bring us. And I've heard people talk about this whole process with the pandemic and, you know, all of the changes that we've been going through in this life, that it's somewhat like a birthing process. And it's messy. And it's questionable. We don't know what's going to be happening. But we have a lot of things to learn as we observe what's going on in this life. I mean, honestly, there's been some really horrific things that have happened. But don't you think overall people have responded with more creativity, with givingness more, with willing to be able to support each other and to help each other as much as we can? I mean, I really see that. And when we live from what the Christ told us, we are living from this love. We are living the truth. It is one thing to know what love is, but it's a whole nother thing to live it, to be it, to express it, to give it out. And I believe that it takes intention, it takes sincerity, it takes earnestness to live from love. To just let go of those cords of distrust, those cords of judgment, and let that love that is bubbling up within us, just let it out. I was reading the preface to Living the Infinite Way, and I had a little chuckle. I was reading, spiritual life is that state of being in which we live by grace, and know that whatever the need is, the answer will appear. Everything that comes as a gift of God. As a matter of fact, it comes just a little before we need it, even before we are going to need it. A path opens before us of undescribable beauty, joy, and peace. And I had to laugh because it reminded me, it was several weeks ago now, where I'd gone to a craft fair, and I don't know, I think I shared this with you perhaps. I bought this Chanel bedspread. Beautiful bedspread. I had been having in the back of my mind, I wanted a Chanel bedspread. And it was the right price. It was a beautiful white with blue on it, colors. And I just said to myself immediately, I need this. This I need. And then my finite mind, my mortal mind said, no, you don't need that. You have bedspreads. You have plenty of bedspreads. You don't need that. And something told me, no, this is mine. This is for me to have now. And so I got it. And I really was thinking, well, where am I going to put it now? And then what was it, a couple of weeks later was when I discovered my couch that I purchased that has that pristine velveteen surface to it, the fabric that's never been sat on, so it's gorgeous, you know. And then my Chanel bedspread just fit perfectly on it to keep it. In fact, it's interesting because, you know, we had a little gathering, I found some brownie crumbs on it. So it did its job. Because I could just brush it right off, and my couch was perfect. So it's interesting how that when we live in the flow of love, that we listen to that still small voice, that we know and understand when it's speaking to us, and that we trust it. So many times, and we know this too, when you'll do something, I don't know why I did that, but there is a reason for it. That when you follow that nudge that life gives you. So I don't know about you, but as I was reading that scripture, I want to provide abundant fruit. I don't want to be the stick that gets thrown in the fire. I want to be able to cling to the vine. I want to be able to be fed from that vine of life, from that love of life, and to continually go back and remember that this love is all I am, and I am living in it. Jesus said to seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all else will be done to us. And to practice being in the kingdom. No matter what the appearances, no matter what's going on in the news, and be grateful, to be happy. It's all a matter of perspective, honestly. I was reading an article in the Daily Word and about gratitude, you know, November, that's what a lot of the themes are. And the man that was writing it had some heart surgery, and it didn't go as planned, and he was in bed for like 3 months, literally, and wasn't initially, wasn't very happy about it. But then he got to thinking about, I'm going to turn my perspective around, and I'm going to look at this in a different way. And so he began to be grateful for every single person who came into his environment to poke and prod him, or to turn him over, or whatever the case might be, to serve him, to give what he needed at that time, and to express his gratitude to them. How easy is it for us to do that? No matter, even if it's a negative, quote unquote, situation that we're going through, there's still a way that we can look at it and say, you know what? This is supporting me right now. That's supporting me right now. I am grateful that I have this in my life. And look at it in a different perspective. I was extremely grateful this last week that I got to babysit, quote unquote, go to work for my 2.5-year-old granddaughter at Silver Strand State Beach. My son and daughter-in-law got their new RV, and so to try it out, we went to the local beach, and then I had to go down there and watch Adeline at the beach every day. But it was amazing how when we got there, of course, she and I went out on the beach, and they're working, they're in the RV working. There was, honestly, not quite the size of this patio, probably maybe from that door over, someone had taken all the seaweed and created a labyrinth. And it was a beautiful one. It had 2 openings. It had, you know what a labyrinth is, how you walk through the path. It was funny because I showed a picture of it, and it was great because Adeline was walking it. I got this great picture of her walking this labyrinth, and it was pretty extensive. And I showed it to my son. I go, look who's out here on the beach. He goes, oh, it's a maze. I said, it's not a maze, it's a labyrinth. You can't get lost in the labyrinth. It goes to the center and it comes back out. But in any event, so it was fun to talk to her about what is a labyrinth. Now again, she's only 2.5 years old, so I have no idea how much she really garnered from the wisdom I was trying to share with her about walking as you walk in life, and then you make an intention and you go into the center. The center is a very special place that you become still and you can listen to the still small voice. And so I'm not quite sure how much she got from that or not, but I'll tell you, what a wonderful thing. I thought, how cool is that? Have anybody ever seen that at the beach? Taken the seaweed and made this beautiful labyrinth? I thought, gosh, that's really cool. So there are things in life that give us joy, that give us pause to reflect our spiritualness, our spirituality, all around us, if we but take the time and the intention to receive it. These gifts of God are right here. And for us to be aware of them and to bless them, to give thanks for them, what happens? I mean, this is just basic, Science of Mind 101. Whatever we focus on increases. So when we focus on the good, when we focus on what we want, when we focus on producing that fruit that we want to eat and that we want to share and we want to give to everyone, more of it is provided. So I think it's wonderful. I know that this coming year, there's going to be twists and turns in life. We're still going through this birth canal. And to let us remember that life is for us, that we are for life, that life needs us to be its hands and its feet and its mouth and its ears and its eyes. I was raised Methodist, and there's been a hymn that's been coming through my awareness over the last few weeks now. I don't know if it's from reading Joel. I'm not sure what. But it's been a prayer in my heart that I'd like to share. And it'll probably be familiar to some of you if you were raised Methodist. Oh, see, here's one hand. I see it too. Okay. Open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hands the wonderful key that shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my ears that I may hear voices of truth thou sendest clear, and while the wave notes fall on my ear, everything false will disappear. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my ears, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my mouth and let me bear gladly the warm truth everywhere. Open my heart and let me prepare love with thy children thus to share. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my heart, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open your heart this coming week. Feel that love. Allow yourself to be led by the will of God that is only good, that is only love, so that you can have abundant blessings. Be ever so grateful. Namaste.